Hello everyone, welcome to Pisces Rising in Depth plus Jupiter, the ruler in all houses. Now, the rising sign is so much more than just personality. The rising sign is the moment you first drew breath. The rising sign influences every area of your life. From this sign, we can read your relationship potential, your working pattern, your health, your home life, your friendships, your siblings, your money. It's all on the video. And if you know where Jupiter is placed by sign, please read for that also. It contains important karmic destiny information. I'm using the sidereal zodiac where your true karmas are found. If you have a Western chart, take away 23 degrees to make sure you have the correct rising sign. If you are new to my channel, sub below. Let's begin. So Pisces is the final sign of the zodiac, the mutable water sign. Mutable means changeable. There is a duality in this sign. Water means emotion, intuition, and a deep compassion. It's a very special sign, Pisces. Being the final sign, to have this rising is a challenge to you in this life, but the rewards are truly immense. Pisces is a sign at which the ego of man has been removed. It was removed in Aquarius with that pot of water broken. So in this sign, these two beautiful fishes are swimming in alternate directions without ego, but with a definite goal in mind. Understanding then the symbolism of the fishes is so important. This symbol of two fishes, it's always two by the way, you never see 3 or 4, is almost consistent in all systems of astrology, all cultures throughout history. One fish is swimming upwards, the other fish is swimming in the opposite direction downwards. Sometimes there is a little rope sort of joining them together. That can be very important to see as well, but it's always different directions. And this is telling us something profoundly important about this sign. As I say, ego is no longer here. Therefore, the gate to liberation, freedom from this material maya, freedom to the actual spiritual realm is available in this sign. So it's a very special moment in your evolution if you are born with Pisces rising. So what's really going on inside every Pisces is this tug of war between these two fishes, these two parts of themselves, pulling in opposite direction but joined by this cord. And this is the issue for Pisces. These two fishes are joined together. Therefore, it's actually a tug of war in their psyche continually. A Pisces, even more than Libra, it's really difficult for them to make a choice in life. Every choice is a tug. Every choice is a really difficult psychological battle in life because there are two different goals inside their soul. One part of them wants done with this material world. They have great spirituality coming from past experience, huge wisdom in their hearts. Some of the highest wisdom is in this sign. At the same time, the lower fish is itching to get going again around the zodiac, starting in Aries, and indulge in material exploitation. But because they are joined together, they cannot separate. Therefore, Pisces find it hard to get started in anything because of this tug of war between two parts of themselves. But if their Jupiter is unafflicted and the Ascendant unafflicted, what wisdom and compassion is in this sign? It's truly the exaltation of Venus. And so true love, which is completely selfless and dedicated, can only be found in Pisces. It's quite a heavy burden to bear though, because this makes them very vulnerable. It actually should make them stronger. But to give in this way is the only way they will ever feel happy. Because Leo lights up the 6th house of their chart. Leo shows where the sun is strongest in our life. The 6th house is about service here. Pisces have to have a vocation, have to have a way to serve all beings in some way. In some special way, they have to be putting themselves below others, below other beings, and that's where they feel safe. That's where they feel that they are really doing what they took birth to do. But it's a difficult place, isn't it, in this hard age of Kali, where everybody is fighting and there is war, conflict and ego-ridden factors at every minute. It's a hard place to be. So what happens is the lower fish escapes into addiction. It all becomes too much, too impossible, especially when Jupiter is afflicted. So they can have any addiction. It could be binging on box sets. It could be alcoholism, drug abuse, food addiction, sex addiction, romance addiction. Whatever it is, it helps them escape from this tug of war and this difficult internal battle. Now, Pisces have a wandering nature as well. This can be simply a love of travel, but they are also wandering in their mind. My goodness. Their minds are very hard to focus because Pisces are really bored with the mundane factors of life, the chores of life, the everyday routine. They find it stifling. They are always looking to escape it, at least in their minds. They are great dreamers, always seeing the bigger vision, the bigger picture. And this can actually be inspiring in art form. You see, exalted Venus here gives Pisces some of the most magical abilities to create art and inspiration on the planet. Pisces are artistic indeed in their deepest soul, so some form of experience of art, even if they do not make a living from it, is essential to their happiness. Particularly, I have found music. Pisces have a real musical ability which is innate. Now, many other factors have to be seen, obviously, but they, at the very least, music takes them to another place completely. They are really calmed down by their favorite music. They really are able to tune in to that higher vibration through musical factors, and it's very important to their soul. A Pisces cannot live a very simple, routine life which is not inspired through some extra artistic form. Whatever it is, it's essential to their very being. Now, as the last sign of the zodiac, Pisces often spend a lot of time in isolation. They enjoy it, actually. They like to be alone. In fact, Pisces need this alone time. Without this alone time, the world itself has them spinning in their head. It's just all too much. They need time in a retreat situation, either in their own room, in their own house, going off to some lonely place in the woods, if you like, maybe sometimes, spending time on their own, spending time in contemplation, reading, study, whatever it is, even just reading novels over and over. They like to have that peaceful time alone, and it's essential for their mental and psychological health that they are able to find that. Finally, every Pisces rising has inside the most incredibly advanced intuition. This intuition is going to save them many a time in their life. They need to be still. They need to listen to the inner voice rather than to their rational mind, because this is where these two fishes end up going round and round in circles, sometimes like in a fishbowl, with no direction in life. If they tune into the deep subconscious intuition that they have, they are able to find magic in their life. You see, a Pisces has the ability, because of it being the last sign, it contains the wisdom, the intuition, and the inner knowing that is truly magical. When a Pisces is at their last drop of ability to carry on, something or someone comes to their rescue always. Their inner voice, their connection to God, if you like, or to their higher self, is always going to save them. The upper fish will always pull the lower fish away from destruction, Pisces is a lucky sign in this way. They create magic in their life, transforming their life from the absolute low to the highs, the peaks of success, the peaks of happiness. Pisces can experience this also. Now, Pisces' early family life is ruled by Mars and Aries, which also influences how they gain money and what their values are. This is a very fortunate thing because Mars becomes positive. It's a friend to Jupiter. Mars gives for some Pisces a rather dangerous start in life. There can be violence, there can be negative energies occasionally, but I've not seen it that much. Mars would have to be terribly afflicted. Mostly it's a really active early family with strong values, really strong dharmic values. Why? Because Mars is the 9th house lord as well. Therefore, particularly from their father's family, they gain a real sense of continuity, values and steadiness, and they take this with them all of their lives. This can be religious values, it can be cultural values, it can be philosophical, but it's absolutely going to the core of who they are, and it starts them off on this lifelong philosophical journey. Wealth-wise, Mars is also terribly favourable for them. They are very good at risky ventures sometimes. They can start a business just off the cuff, on their own, and they are not afraid to go it alone at all. In fact, the 9th house coming into play here means that many Pisces gain wealth when they go abroad. Foreign ventures, foreign lands are extremely favourable in their wealth creation. The 3rd house now of sibling, travel and communication, ruled by Taurus and Venus. Venus rules the 8th house as well. So it's not a good energy for Pisces because the 3rd is a slightly malefic house and the 8th house certainly is. So what's happening here is that siblings, there can be separation from siblings. There can be trauma in the actual life of a sibling. And there is a general lack of harmony with siblings at a very subtle level. It's not always open warfare, nothing like that, but siblings are in a different direction to themselves. They are hearing a different drummer to the Pisces. When it comes to travel, Pisces are great travelers. They love to get around, but the problem is Venus doesn't always work so well for them here. Venus can distract them. Strange things can happen on their travels. Often they can get involved in diverting love affairs, attractions because of Venus's influence here. But it doesn't always work out that well because of the 8th house factor. So they have to watch themselves on their travels. They have to watch their valuables on their travels, okay? Because there can be some danger there sometimes. Mostly though, Pisces like to travel in style. Venus likes comfort. They can make a home anywhere. Virtually wherever they travel, they really make themselves feel at home. They're not really like a backpacker traveler. They like comfort and convenience, that's for sure. But it's not an easy part of life, the actual traveling itself. They are far happier when they get to their destination and, as I say, make themselves feel at home. The 3rd house also rules communication style. Taurus here and Venus makes them very diplomatic, very kind, sometimes soft-spoken, but not always in their voice because Mars rules their 2nd house of voice. But in how they communicate, they definitely don't want to upset everybody. They get on well with people from all walks of life. They know how to communicate to make themselves understood in a situation. This makes them very well liked indeed. The problem is when they have to express their real needs, their particular desires. Sometimes Pisces are a little bit afraid of upsetting people or having a negative response. Sometimes they need to be just a little more assertive occasionally, but you have to see condition of Venus, obviously. Now, the home, which is ruled by Gemini, a dual sign, and Mercury, which also rules the 7th house. This is a very curious area of Pisces life because it's a restless sign, a very adaptable sign. Pisces, are they always moving home? Not necessarily. But what they are doing is finding alternate homes to live in. It's a very curious thing I've seen. Pisces often have more than one home at the same time. If they are wealthy, well, that's an easy thing to achieve, and they like that. They like to have more than one place to go to. But if they are not so much wealthy, I've still seen they can have a home from home in a relative's house, in a friend's house. Even their partner can have more than one home, because Pisces like this changeability in their home environment. They like it. They enjoy this very much. They are also studious in their home because that's what Gemini is all about. It can be full of books or full of studying materials, and all Pisces like a desk in their home. If they've got a corner, they've got to have their special desk. It mightn't even be where they work. They might be going to work somewhere else, but they like to come home and have a desk, something that they can organize their life from, or attempt to do so. And they like company in their home. But here's the problem. They also like isolation and privacy. It's a conflict for them. Mercury is their 7th house lord. Very often they live with a partner. More than anything, they like that. But they like their own space away from their partner. Maybe a room of their own, something like that. But Pisces are eminently adaptable. They can adapt to any domestic situation and make it work for them. But they do like company. They like another heartbeat in their home. If they have not got a relationship, it could be a friend staying over sometimes, or it could simply be a very close pet. But they like that duality. They enjoy that company immensely. Now, children and education, and indeed creativity. The moon is a very good planet for Pisces because this is the nurturing heart and soul of Pisces. They are empathetic, they are caring, they are selfless. They make the most incredible parents, male and female. How many children they're going to have? You need to see if the moon is a very bright moon or less bright. The more it is towards full moon, more children is normally seen. But there's so many other factors like D5 and D7 chart as well. But generally though, Pisces love young people, and they are absolutely as much nurtured by being around young people as they nurture them themselves. In their own education, they thoroughly enjoy it. Education becomes another home from home for Pisces. School becomes like a mothering, nurturing environment which they enjoy. It's the company, it's the sense of routine that gives them a real feeling of security. And in their higher education, they need to feel happy in their student world, because they need to be nurtured in any educational environment. If they are not nurtured and the moon is weak, they can lose track of their education and just move off into other areas. So a very strong moon is needed for their education to go smoothly, for sure. And of course, Pisces are super creative. The moon gives them the deepest imagination in the zodiac. They can imagine fantastic novels, stories, screenplays. They are endlessly inspired. Again, you have to see the strength of the moon. Now, the 6th house ruled by the Sun and Leo. This is about health, open enemies, conflicts, and indeed everything to do with service in life. Pisces live to serve. They have to make sure that they are giving to others, because if they live only for themselves, they're going to become depressed. They're going to find the weight of that 12th house Saturn. Saturn rules 11th and 12th houses. Saturn gives them lifelong friends, but also secret enemies that can afflict their health. They have to watch out for that. They're not so much worried by open enemies as secret enemies. Sometimes friends can turn into frenemies and even enemies. In some cases, they have to watch out for that. I've seen this. But health-wise, they're very healthy because the sun lights up this area and really gets them interested in medical factors and health. They can have a stock cupboard full of vitamin pills, minerals, all the latest health things. They are really heavily into it, and they are very much into diet and into taking care of their diet also. Conflict, as I say, they can have hidden enemies. You have to watch out for that. But open enemies, they deal swiftly with that because the sun sorts out open conflicts for them in a swift and meaningful way. Now, in regard to specific health concerns, the feet are a sensitive area, but the most perhaps important area is cardiovascular because the sun rules the heart. So heart health is very sensitive, and the circulation from Aquarius 12th house. They need to watch everything about cardiovascular system, high blood pressure, etc. most definitely, which is why meditation and spiritual practice is so helpful for this sign. Now, career area ruled by Sagittarius and Jupiter again. It's definitely got to be vocational. Jupiter wants them to serve, and Jupiter in Sagittarius here is the highest values, moral, dharmic values. Whatever they do, it has to be giving good to society. If it isn't, if it's not giving value, if it's not giving help, giving guidance, giving instruction, giving something of help to the world, if you like, in an ethical way, something will be lacking. So Pisces, whatever they do, you have to see where is Jupiter's sign, D10 chart, so many factors. Whatever they do, to be happy in their soul, it has to be service to the world for sure. It's normally vocational, that is often seen. But it's a dual sign again, so they can change careers. Very often I've seen Pisces, more than any other sign, have more than one thing going at the same time. They have more than one source of income. And very often they are adaptable and they enjoy this variety. They really love it. Once again, Sagittarius is about foreign land, so working abroad, working in foreign companies, working with some connection to foreign areas is going to be lucrative and successful for them, certainly. Now, relationships and Pisces is wandering, dreamy, spiritual sign, searching for liberation, but they need a partner. Of all the signs, I'd say Pisces definitely do best in life when they have a solid, supportive relationship. And they very often get that eventually. You want to check out D9. Where is Mercury there? Where is Mercury in the birth chart itself? Mercury has to be strong because Virgo is so different to Pisces. You see, Virgo is that practical helpmate, down to earth, not dreamy, focused on those everyday tasks. Pisces attracts somebody like this, and that's who they need most certainly. They don't need another dreamy, philosophical mate. They don't even need to have a mate into their concern. So let's say they're into astrology. They don't need a mate who understands anything about astrology. It's probably not even good for them. They need a mate who's going to ground them in paying the bills, getting on with everyday chores, doing the plumbing, or, it doesn't matter, male or female. They can attract a mate who deals with the everyday chores of life, who enjoys that, and that's a perfect mate for Pisces without doubt. That's what a soulmate is, someone who complements you, not necessarily is the same as you. Because Jupiter and Mercury, their ruler and the ruler of the 7th house, are neutral in relationship, there's nothing really standing in the way of Pisces finding this much needed soulmate. Mercury would have to be terribly afflicted for that to occur, because Pisces have a destiny, a really important incarnation here in which much spiritual development has to take place. So they need that supportive partner. One thing though that can be disconcerting is this: Virgo is a critical sign, and often they can attract someone who, though supportive of them most definitely, is a little critical as well. And this can be a little hard because Pisces are very sensitive people. So they do have to deal with a little bit of criticism coming from their partner more than they would like. But generally though, they work through this. In the end, because Mercury is a sort of gender neutral planet, what tends to happen is that it's all about friendship in the end. It's all about having a companion more than the romantic side of things. You see, Pisces are ultimately the most romantic in the zodiac. They are very dreamy, very idealistic. But when it comes to a long-term partner, they can have the romance, but ultimately what they need is the friendship. And I've seen Pisces stay friends with their ex-partners long beyond what is perhaps the norm, because there is a deep connection at a friendship level. So Pisces, yes, are very fortunate finding a deep, meaningful, supportive relationship that often has a deep core of compatibility and friendship at its heart. There can be a bit of criticism. It can be a little topsy-turvy from time to time because Mercury is a changeable factor. So they can actually find that their mates change over time and they have to adapt to this changing factor. But Pisces are eminently adaptable, so it normally works out wonderfully. It's a lucky area of their life, ultimately. Your ruling planet is Jupiter, and the importance of Jupiter by house is crucial. This shows unfinished business in some area of your life that requires urgent attention. I'll be going through all the houses, but don't forget to check out the sign of your Jupiter, link below, for past life karmas also. Jupiter rising then in own sign of Pisces is very auspicious. You have to look at the aspects to Jupiter and how strongly he can perform for you. But certainly he will bring you out of the worst tricky situations and give you good fortune at the last minute so many times. Jupiter's aspects on the 5th house and the 9th house show that you are going to get great fortune through children and in foreign lands without doubt. But the past karmas are philosophical, spiritual, metaphysical. You are here to pick up your past life learning. And what do you do with it? This time you are here to pass it on. 9th house, 5th house are all about teaching. You make a superb educator. You are here to give guidance. You are here to give knowledge. Without doing this in some way in your life, it doesn't have to be formally teaching, you won't be fulfilling your destiny. So if Jupiter is well aspected here, you have a happy, forward-looking, optimistic personality. You are always finding the best in any situation, and this serves you very well. You have to watch that sweet tooth though. Jupiter could give a tendency to put on weight, but in general your past karmas have been favorable. You have done good deeds, you have helped, you have been able to build a great deal of wisdom, which you are here to finalize. So Jupiter is going to give you prosperity, definitely. It's going to give you education. It's going to be good for your children. And it's going to open up doors in foreign lands. It's a most favorable indication indeed. Now, Jupiter in Aries in the 2nd house of your chart is very fortunate indeed, because Jupiter here will give you abundance in material factors. But there is a but you have to check how Mars is working for you. Jupiter can make you a spendthrift. Jupiter can make you impulsive with finances. But what's it all about karmically? The family of origin is the hint. Jupiter is taking you back very often into a family you've actually taken birth in before, directly to finish debt in that family. So you may be caretaker for family finance. Inheritances are very likely. You may have a really fortunate early upbringing that instills you with wisdom and happiness very often. But because Aries is a violent sign, sometimes there can be sudden changes because Jupiter's aspect is on the 8th house. So sudden changes in your early family life are very often seen. But ultimately, Jupiter is a protector of your family, a protector of your finances. You are going to get good financial help here because of your generosity, because of your giving nature past life. But you still have outstanding debt with your family. So no matter where you go in the world, you are always drawn back, always having to take responsibility, always having to do extra family duties without doubt. In addition, Jupiter gives you an excellent ability to communicate with your speaking voice. Jupiter here will give you a powerfully charismatic speaking voice that can be useful to you. Downside, as with first house Jupiter, what you're eating, what's your sweet intake. You can have a terribly sweet tooth and you can be very indulgent in food and drink. Because of the Aries influence, you are a little bit of a compulsive eater sometimes. You eat more under stress and you have to watch that. But on the whole, Jupiter here is going to stabilize your life. It's going to make family life fortunate for you, but it's going to give you definite duties and caretaking factors which are coming directly from past life karma. Now, Jupiter in the 3rd house as your ruler from Pisces shows definite karmas coming with your siblings and definitely sometimes cousins, but mostly siblings, which are going to have to be worked through. Jupiter in a Venus sign is not totally happy though. So some definite sibling issues are going to be lifelong and have to be worked through karmically. You're going to be on the move a lot, but not always enjoying it because Jupiter is in a fixed sign. You're going to have to take care of your communication as well. Jupiter makes communication difficulties sometimes in this Taurian sign. Why is this happening? Because you want to please other people, because you want to be liked by other people. Jupiter aspects your 7th house of relationships. You find it hard to say it like it is sometimes. You don't want to upset people. But the good news is Jupiter's going to get you great supporters with this Jupiter. You're going to have marvelous, long-lasting friendships. Sometimes they can be upsetting, though, if there is ill aspect here. Because Jupiter aspects 11th house, you can expect that friendships go through phases, definitely, which can be a bit upsetting. So your karmas are coming back to you from your siblings, from your partner in life and friendships. It's people who you have been with before, with whom you have definite karmic debt. So Jupiter, ruler of Pisces, is in the 4th house. This is now in Gemini. This is going to make a very restless life indeed. You're going to be having big issues around mother relationship, maybe early cultural upbringing and family. Not necessarily negative issues, but you get such a lot of philosophy, such a lot of metaphysics, such a lot of deep understanding and wisdom from your mother. And you are a sort of mothering type of person in a strange way as well. Jupiter gives you tremendous faith at the base of your being. Jupiter in the 4th house increases happiness in your home life due to past karmic debt. So the only issue is, how is Mercury working for you? Your choice of partner is going to be karmically so important because Mercury is your 7th house lord. bringing back into your life a past relationship, possibly family member as a partner also. Jupiter in your 4th house definitely impacts also career for many of you. This is because of the 7th aspect on the 10th house. Jupiter indicates many new beginnings in your career, many complete changes of occupation sometimes, and at least once in your life you will definitely have a major home move in connection with career. More or less every time you have a Jupiter return, that's every 12 years of your life, you will have this major shift in your working life and your home life for sure. So Jupiter is a ruler of Pisces, has gone into the 5th house in Cancer in exalted state. What a special karmic position is this. Such good deeds and such good fortune in your past life have come to aid you in this very life. Particularly being with young people is essential to you. You may be a teacher, you may be a guide of some sort who works with younger people. Definitely though, children are important to you. You are an excellent parent, but this is not indicator of large family necessarily. You need to see the moon for that indication, right? But definitely Jupiter links you to the higher knowledge by the 5th aspect and helps you to become an extremely philosophical person. Mantra meditation is particularly favored because this is the house of mantra. So your spirituality is the key to who you are. It's why you took birth, to further this higher knowledge. And most of all, you are to give this to the younger generation, because after all, Jupiter is guru, Jupiter is teacher, and he is in the house of education. Finally, this will definitely further higher education for you. Most of you will absolutely go on to the highest levels of education unless there is affliction to this Jupiter placement. So Jupiter, as your ruler from Pisces, is now in the 6th house in Leo. What a service attitude. What amount of service and selfless action you have to give to the world. The issue is that Jupiter isn't so well placed in this sign sometimes if he has ill aspects, okay? Because Jupiter here can attract conflict into your life unwittingly. There is a past life karma health-wise. You could be a great medical person, definitely. You could be doctor, you could be nursing, you could be in any way a clinician, because Jupiter gives you a great medical mind, really good insight here. But whatever you do by many other aspects, Jupiter 6th house means that you have to be continually serving. You have to be continually giving of your knowledge and wisdom. And sometimes it can be tricky for you because Jupiter's definitely going to give you some niggling health concerns. It has to be said. Jupiter expands this 6th house. So depending on other aspects, there may be health concerns, there may be conflicts, litigations that are karmic in nature, which you absolutely have to work through. Finally, Jupiter in your 6th house is definitely going to give you a rapport with non-human beings. Very often you can work with animals. Again, it may be medically or in some helpful way, but there is a definite karma dealing with smaller animals in your life, which again can be mostly certainly favorable to you. So Jupiter, as your ruling planet from Pisces, is now placed in the sign of Virgo in the 7th house. Now, Jupiter doesn't like to be so much in this 7th house because he likes to be shining forth from the first house, in control of your whole destiny. Here, other people are controlling your destiny. So karmically, you have come here definitely to complete some relationship karma, without doubt. But it isn't going to be that easy, because Virgo is a tricky sign sometimes for Jupiter to be, particularly as ruler. So you're going to attract a very critical mate, but it's all past life karmas coming home. If you've got ill aspects here, Jupiter's going to definitely give you more than one relationship. Jupiter expands your sense of not being satisfied. So you are always yourself, maybe also looking for new expansion, looking for new partners sometimes. It's a very restless thing in this house. But past karma means that with your mate, for absolute certain, your career will take off. You will find a mate who will expand your career potential like nothing else. And this is definitely destined. So Jupiter, ruler of the first house, is in the 8th house in Libra. This makes it very important for you to compromise in this lifetime. You're going to have to go into partnerships in a big way as well. Many of you may be business and self-employed people, because Libra is absolutely about enterprise and business. But Jupiter here, depending on aspects, will have varying results. First of all, on the more positive side, you're going to make a good deal of money in partnerships or through spousal situations, definitely. Jupiter, though, is going to give a crisis from time to time with partners and siblings, and these are financial, and you're going to have to find so much compromise to get through these. But the good news is that karmically, Jupiter shows here that you can become an arbitrator between different parties. You could actually be a very good lawyer. Anybody dealing with law in this position, because you know how to powerfully find secret information also behind the scenes. You're definitely going to have some interest in occult study, but it's more about money management, business factors here. So expect big shifts in your life financially, but you will be able to come out of these on top, because Pisces, as I've said, has the good fortune of a strong Mars ruling your second house, a friend to your Lord Jupiter. So Jupiter, ruler of Pisces, is now in the 9th house in Scorpio, a very auspicious and profound position. Past life good karmas are coming with you, because Jupiter aspects the 5th house of your good karmas. These karmas give you auspiciousness from your father connection and your father's family, but you must see all of the aspects to Jupiter, because they might not be so favorable. But on the whole, though, father's family, father's line is auspicious for you and gives you real philosophical moral grounding. But you are a very philosophical person here. I mean, your whole life depends on your belief system. It's the soul of who you are. And higher learning is very auspicious here. You are completing past karmas of unfinished education, which you have to complete in this lifetime, very often in foreign lands as well. Most of all, though, Jupiter here is going to give you faith in the core of your being. Scorpio is a very much transformative sign, so your life is going to go to the heights and then the lows and then the heights again. But deep in your soul, you have a deep belief and an abiding philosophy that will always see you through. So Jupiter, ruler of Pisces, has now gone into the 10th house in his own sign of Sagittarius, a very auspicious position indeed for your career, most certainly. But you have to look at aspects, because Jupiter can give many changes in your career. It's not going to be simply one job. You can have multiple careers, multiple opportunities for satisfaction in your worldly service. But Jupiter makes you a teacher at heart, here to give guidance, here to give help to other people. You're definitely going to go into foreign lands though, and very often it's a complete change of location because of Jupiter's aspect to your 4th house here. So expect that your career is going to be multifaceted. Expect that you'll be exploring many factors in foreign land in connection with your career. This is all karmic. Jupiter in Sagittarius gives you a most incredible belief system, which is definitely coming from past life factors. So you're here to give hope. You're here to give inspiration to other people in your working life, and you definitely have to go with this. For some of you, you could even get fame. You could even get so much success in your helping career that you become renowned in your sphere. Writing, publishing, all of these are very successful for you also. Jupiter, though, is going to definitely mean that you are a communicator in your career, because Jupiter's aspect on the 2nd house of speech gives you a powerful way of speaking, a powerful way of influencing other people. All of these are past life ambitions which were not fulfilled and will definitely get fulfillment in this very lifetime. Jupiter, ruler of Pisces, is now in the 11th house in Capricorn. Yes, it is debilitated, but check where Saturn is. The stronger Saturn is, the more favorable is this Jupiter, because you have definitely taken birth to work again to fulfill past life ambitions that were not fulfilled. So in this very lifetime, you're going to be tremendously focused. Actually, for a Pisces person, you're going to know what you want. You're going to be working hard in a very steady way to get to your goals. If you have a well-aspected Jupiter here, expect people will promote you. You can go up that ladder like no end, but probably in a slow way to begin with. You can get the highest earnings here. Very much material prosperity is within your grasp, but it isn't about that. It's really about you feeling fulfilled in your material ambition. But here's the thing. Where is Saturn? Saturn will say how this will actually go. Saturn is the dispositor of this Capricorn Jupiter. Saturn is your 12th house lord, so you have to watch your network circles. Karmically, you have a real tie here. Some people wish you well, but some do not, and you have to watch out for that at all times. But on the whole, you are here to definitely fulfill unfulfilled ambition. So Jupiter, ruler of Pisces, has now gone into the 12th house in Aquarius. What a secretive, intuitive and powerful imagination you have as well. You are here to give service to humanity, which you did not complete past life, but finding that place where you can give the utmost service in a happy situation may take you some time. Some of you, it's definitely going to be foreign lands, but not always. Jupiter is your 10th house lord, so your career depends on being part of something larger than yourself. Very often government work, very often larger institutions such as schools, hospitals, even a prison, where you give absolute service selflessly. You can become actually famous within this organization because Jupiter gives you such compassion and willingness to serve selflessly. But also you have to watch spending. Jupiter here gives a little bit of a tendency to overspend and to lose control of financial factors for some of you, but that's rare. What it is that you're a very generous giving person. Your purpose in life is not just your well-being, but everybody else's well-being. And of course, you will explore occult knowledge. You will explore astrology, systems of prediction, systems of belief, and you will be extremely talented in helping other people with these systems, without doubt. Hope the video was useful to you all. Check up on your screen right now, Jupiter in all the signs of the zodiac. Check out those karmas as well. Sub to my channel if you haven't already. Goodbye for now, and God bless everyone.